They are the worst team in the league in the last 11 years around the rim.
I'm just sorry to tell you what it is. Steph hasn't been a good player on a silver platter, and you lost it when you had Steph, Jimmy, and Dre in the starting lineup, and you let Kyrie go nuclear on you. A devastating call there late in the game as the Dallas Mavericks hang on to win 111-107 over the Golden State Warriors. Dubs fall to 27-27, 12-14 on the road now as they wrap up their final game of this 6-game road trip tonight against the Houston Rockets. Is Steph going to play? Is Jimmy going to play? Is Draymond going to play? We'll see. But a very disappointing ending to that game where the Warriors were fighting to claw back. They were clawing. It was back and forth, Joe Shasky. They take the lead after a Stephen Curry 3, but the Mavericks and that guy Kyrie Irving, yeah, he's still pretty freaking good. I know they didn't have Anthony Davis. I know they didn't have Daniel Gafford, Derek Lively. They didn't have a big, quite frankly, which was interesting because the Warriors, who, to their credit, attacked the paint a lot, they just missed a lot of easy buckets, and it was a frustrating loss. There's a lot baked into it. Good morning to all of you just getting off work, getting ready for work, getting ready for school. It is very wet out there. They're calling it an atmospheric river, Joe Shasky. I feel like we've heard that phrase 3 years in a row now here in the Bay Area. So please be safe if you're driving out there, if you're commuting, however you're doing it, on bike, on scooter, whatever. Please be safe. Don't be dumb. If you need to pull over, if it's getting too crazy, don't be afraid to do that. Tough loss last night.
Tough loss? How about horrific officiating? Now, it doesn't mask the Warriors' execution. We'll get to that in a second. Gucci Man sucks. Let's just call it let's start there.
Who's Gucci Man?
He's the referee who looks like the rapper Gucci Man. It's pretty obvious. He sucks. He sucks. All right, there was a variety of plays. That crew was awful. First off, when both benches are losing their minds, clearly you've lost control of that game. The final sequence, Kyrie's feet are moving. It's inarguable. His feet are moving. It's the wrong call, period. His feet are moving. And if we're going to go letter of the law, spirit of the law, it does not matter. Now, there would have been time on the clock. They would have had the ball. They would have had opportunities to win the game, the Dallas Mavericks. So it's not the end-all, be-all. But it was a sequence of bad calls in the fourth quarter in particular that was driving everyone nuts. Case in point, we've talked about this. Inconsistencies on consecutive possessions. Steph Curry, who doesn't attack the basket, is attacking the basket with ferocity and then gets absolutely leveled, no call. And then the very next possession, Moses Moody closes out on Kyrie Irving, who does the most garbage sweep through of all time to get an automatic 3 free throws. A, if it is a foul, it's a foul on the floor. B, it's a sweep through, which you've told me you're going to adjudicate out of the league. C, where's the consistency on contact on the prior possession for Steph Curry, who everyone tells me doesn't attack the lane? Then we take it a step further. The 8-second call in the backcourt on the kick, the clear kick, where you don't show me the sequencing of the clock and him bringing it up the court.
It looked like there were 17 seconds still on there.
Yeah, it was a master class in ineptitude of officiating. And it masked what should be a game that we're talking about as a great regular season game. The Warriors fought back from a dozen multiple times. Kyrie was spectacular. And I'm sitting here furious at the officiating. And no, it's not the reason they lost, but it's baked into this is why we're frustrated. As an NBA, I'm not just a Warrior fan, NBA fan.
You called it a master class of ineptitude. We call that a disaster class these days, Joe Shasky. Okay. A disaster class from the referees late in that game. And that's fine. You know what? It's baked into it. And again, to your point, I'm not going to say that was the reason they lost. They had a lot of opportunities to score inside the paint. They scored how many? 60-plus points yesterday inside the paint. It should have been way more.
It should have been 120. It should have been 100. Like Pods and Draymond smoked bunnies on consecutive plays.
I got secondhand high from the amount of smoked layups yesterday in that game. My eyes are still glossy from it. It's that bad. Like, no. And you know, I was talking about Buddy Hield his last couple of games. It looks like he was going to break out of this funk that he was in because he was making some 3-point shots. 1 of 9 yesterday, 3 points. If he's not scoring, he's not giving you anything. I saw time in and time out on the defensive side, the Dallas Mavericks, whether it was Kessler Edwards, whether it was Max Christie, who's looking like a great pickup. Really good. He looks a great pickup since he got traded from the Lakers. I know that was obviously an afterthought from Anthony Davis and Luka Doncic, but Max Christie was a part of that trade.
Brandon Williams killed them.
Brandon Williams. Clay early on was killing them. I know he got cold a little bit late, but he had some big shots.
Clay was wide open in the first half.
He was. Najee Marshall killed him with his size, right? He had 0 for 4 from beyond the arc, but 5 of 10, 10 points, 8 boards for him. His size, again, a team going into the game that had no size, like, I didn't feel like they were exposed enough for their lack of size. I'll just say it like that. And you had Quentin Post playing 12 minutes yesterday. I get it. Early on, he was a minus 19 in the game for his plus minus for the entire, like, I felt like he could have used him more. Did I see him in the second half at all?
No.
I didn't see him in the second half. I didn't feel it at all. I felt like you could have used him at certain points. Jimmy Butler, late in that game, that was a tough call because had he got the not charge, if it was a blocking call, maybe he put some...
And he missed a free throw. And
he missed a free throw.
Like, I'm talking about prior to that. But, like, the reality is that, to me, it doesn't have to be a foul. It could be a no call. Yeah. But you blew the whistle, and if his feet are moving and you're going to review it, well, then you're wrong.
So
you're wrong.
There was a lot baked into that loss last night. I want to hear from Dub Nation, 888-957-9570.
Steve Kerr bears a big burn of it, too.
He does.
And I'm going to go right to Steve Kerr, and I'm going to say, all right, a couple of things. First,
he's that coach.
It took forever for you to run a double team at Kyrie. He's destroying you. He hit 3 consecutive threes. No timeout. What are we doing? What are we doing? Secondarily,
42 points.
How many times have I watched this team? This is not the Iguodala Livingston team. Stop switching on everything. GP2, fight through a screen. Fight through. You are the defensive stopper. You are giving up. When there's a screen that comes up, they did it over and over and over and over and over again. They were hunting the Buddy Hield or Steph Curry matchup on these screens. They come up, they set a pick. Sometimes they'll set a pre-ball pick to set up another pick, so they'll go 2-man away. Guys, you don't have to just give up the switch. You saw it late in the game. Jimmy Butler gave you the template. No, get back. I am fighting over the top of the screen. I am staying with my man. Stop switching. And then Buddy Hield, I got him. No, you don't got him. No, you need to hedge back and you need to go off and go back on the other guy. Stop switching. GP2, fight through the screen over the top. To me, this is a Warrior problem. This is not 2016. This is not 2017. You can't switch across the board. Fight through. Stop letting them get the matchup that they want every single time. Dallas's whole MO yesterday was, we're going to run pick and rolls. We're going to run off-ball screens to set up specific matchups. They failed to adjust to it, and then you failed to send the double team to Kyrie until 6 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. I love you, Steve Kerr. That is on you.
Brought to you by Golden State, serving the Bay Area for 3 generations. When you succeed, we succeed. Visit goldenstatelumber.com. It's a simple question. What's the most frustrating part of that loss for you last night, Dub Nation? You could say it was the team you were playing against because this is the team you're going to be battling for the standings for the rest of the season. You got one more matchup against the Dallas Mavericks. It's going to be at Chase Center in a couple weeks or 10 days, I want to say. It's going to be on February 23rd. So you got one more matchup against them. Kyrie Irving goes nuclear. He drops 42. Was it that? Was it the officiating? Was it, the amount of smoked layups you had yesterday? You had, damn near 10 more shot attempts yesterday, and it felt like it should have been more. You should have had so many different opportunities. Cutting, like, how many times did we see yesterday that the suspendables connection, as we're calling it?
They look great.
The Butler to Draymond, just Draymond cutting to the lane and just driving for a wide open layup.
Steph was not great in this game. And I have a lot of...
That was frustrating, too.
But
9 to 23, 4-13 from beyond the arc, 25 points for Stephen Curry.
Yeah, he wasn't great yesterday. I thought he was very inefficient. He missed a lot of shots. I thought he did a lot of complaining, too. Like, get back on D, Steph. Like, on the real. Like, we got to call it out. Like, stop complaining on every play. Like, you got to get back and play. The best part of yesterday that makes me most encouraged, because there are silver linings, and I hate to be that guy.
Really?
Oh, yeah. You played in a competitive back-and-forth game in the fourth quarter. You dug out multiple 12-point deficits. You got stops. Draymond was spectacular defensively in the final couple of minutes. Spectacular. He was. Draymond, amazing. He was amazing. The Jimmy Butler-Draymond, two-man game is maybe the most encouraging thing to come out of this game. I thought, Steph and Jimmy. I mean, Draymond and Jimmy clearly have the high pick and roll thing going on where Jimmy drops down after he gets the matchup that he wants, and Dre's just feeding him, and they're working that block. There are a lot of little silver linings. I think Moody's a player. I'm learning Moody's a player. That's a game, obviously, I want. I wanted that game. I'm fired up. I'm ticked off. But if they play like that, this team is going to play meaningful games this year. I know it's 3 games into the Butler experience. That was a great game. A great game.
That's why it's frustrating, I think, if you're a Warriors fan right now, because he had 2 blowouts, and this was the first crunch time game this is a team that's reeling. The Dallas Mavericks felt like they were going to crash and burn.
Yeah.
Anthony Davis out indefinitely with an industrial strain. They just lost Luka Doncic, who ESPN and every other media outlet is shoving down our throat right now, rightfully so. He makes some great passes as the Lakers get blown out yesterday in Utah, but no one's caring about that because the Dallas Mavericks won. The fan, that entire crowd was just waiting to boo them off the court late in that game. They were waiting to just attack Jason Kidd, Nico Harrison, anyone out there. And the Warriors, to their credit, they were fighting back. They took the lead late after that Steph 3-point shot. They just couldn't close. And that's been a problem for this team, Joe Shasky.
Yeah, but they lose going away. Like 3 weeks ago, that's a game. 2 weeks ago, they lose that game going away.
That's true. But
and I know that sounds like I'm doing loser talk here, but like I'm being real. Like there are silver linings to that.
There are, but there's also, I can't unsee what I've saw throughout this whole season. I know we want to look at it through this new lens and it's this new team. It's a new squad. It's Jimmy Butler. Andrew Wiggins isn't here. Kyle Anderson isn't here. D'Anthony Melton's not here anymore. Dennis Schroeder's not here anymore. This is a new team, so you kind of have to view it through a different lens, right? But at the same time, the Warriors now fall to 1-21 when trailing after 3 quarters this year.
That almost seems impossible.
0-9 on the road. If they're trailing heading to the 4th on the road, they're going to lose the game. Like, that's something that needs to change when you have Jimmy Butler out there, when that's a guy we brought in to be a closer. Now, again, was it a 50-50 call? You don't even think it's 50-50? It was.
Where his feet moving?
It looked like it.
No. It's yes or no.
It looked like it. I wasn't there. I wasn't there in real time calling the play. And was it one of those where it's, the call, if it's that close, the call in the field's going to stand, or call in the court, in this case,
Kyrie jumped to the spot to get, again, this is foul baiting 101.
I know.
Kyrie jumped to the spot to get that was not a defensive position he was trying to be in. He was trying to beat him to the spot to bail them into the charge call. And Gucci Man, of course,
James Williams.
took it. He took it. And then they reviewed it. His feet are clearly moving. And then they basically stick with it. How many times? I mean, we've seen the Warriors themselves this year get caught for the same thing where the feet are moving and they go, feet are moving. Like, be consistent here. They're not consistent on these calls.
Okay. Breaking this thing down. Where the Warriors are at right now, Joe Shasky, they're 27-27. They're 500. Have a chance to go over 500 heading into the All-Star break. For the mentals, do you think that means something if they were to head in this Jimmy Butler run at 3-1 as opposed to 2-2? Like, I get it from Steve Kerr's perspective. You want to keep your guys healthy tonight. 32 minutes last night for Draymond, 35 for Jimmy, 37 for Steph. Short turnaround. You didn't get a lot of sleep. There's a lot baked into it. But if they were to win this game tonight, I feel like the mentals of a 3-1, these last 4 games with Jimmy, as opposed to 2-2, would be huge heading into the All-Star break. Am I looking too much into that?
No, I agree. And this whole thing about, like, I understand, like, the back-to-backs. We're not asking them to play every back-to-back. But in this one, considering you lost this game last night, I feel like you got to. Like, to me, this is still a must-win. Like, I feel like everyone's got to just suck it up and play tonight. Like, it's easy for me to say. I don't know where everyone's at health-wise, but, I mean, you got to win this one, Joe. I want them to win this one, and they do need to start building momentum. But more than anything, you need to win games because of the standings. We can talk all we want about the big emo and momentum and vibes and all.
That's why this loss sucked, because the Mavericks are going to have to be playing like that. Like, that's the team
when the Timberwolves lose with no Giannis and no Dame.
Yes, like that. You need to capitalize on things like this, because maybe next time you're playing the Mavericks, I don't know, Gafford or whoever is going to be healthy, they're going to have some size back.
I think they play on the 23rd.
The 23rd. So AD's not going to be there, but they might be getting some more size back.
Who knows?
And this was the game to take advantage of, to me. Like, everything was going against the Mavericks heading into this game. I can't underscore this enough. We were talking about it yesterday, Joe Shasky. When's the last time you felt like a Dallas Maverick fan when it felt like the world was ending in your fandom? That's what we were talking about yesterday. Fire Nico Harrison. Mark Cuban was telling fans to shut the F up. Everything was going wrong for them. And you lose that game in the fashion that you did. It felt like you let them off the hook.
Well, you let
if you
Kyrie
want to crown their asses, then crown them. R.I.P. Denny Green. Yeah. You let him off the hook.
Well, you let Kyrie cook. And then early in the game, like, let's call it what it is, Klay was cooking. He was wide open on so many threes, and his shot looked pure early in that game. Now, it didn't finish pure, but Klay made a lot of buckets. I know the 17 is misleading. I thought he was better than what the numbers sell.
Brandon Williams, clutch for them. Najee Marshall hitting some big shots, hitting some floaters there, right? So 4 offensive rebounds for him. They had a lot of second chance points that I felt like, the team doesn't have size. What are we doing here?
Joe, they've been tracking these stats since 2013, 2014. The Warriors are 324th out of 324 teams as the worst team since 2013, 2014 around the rim.
It's unbelievable.
They are the worst team in the league in the last 11 years around the rim.
And you say that, and they had 62 points in the paint, which was their season high. They tied it. They did that November 28th against Atlanta. Well, that's the thing. They left how many points?
I love Looney. 15, Looney had a 16? Bad game.
It wasn't great.
Missed a couple. Moody missed a couple.
Jimmy did.
Jimmy missed a couple of putbacks. Curry missed a zillion. I thought he got fouled on a couple, but he missed a zillion.
Well,
Draymond.
There was a play Jimmy had where he smoked a layup, then he got it back, then he got it knocked out of his hands because he tried to do a couple pump fakes, and Brandon Williams, number 10, he wasn't falling for it. He smacked it out of his hand, and then they scored on the opposite end there. And I was like, God.
He dribbled off his foot, too.
Right? A lot of killer just momentum plays that happened yesterday where it felt like the Warriors were chipping away, and then some back-breaking turnover happened or a smoked layup where Pods blows right by Klay Thompson, right? Smokes it. And then Klay's thinking on the other end, he's like, oh, watch me, I'm going to do it. Then he misses a putback, and then Draymond runs the floor, and he misses one. Well, it was just, oh, God, a series of unfortunate events.
The mismatch was Butler on Klay, and Klay just tackled him on multiple times. I'm like, you got to keep going back to that.
Right.
And I thought they failed to go back to that.
Be listening here in the next 10 minutes or so. We're going to be giving away a pair of Curry 12s. Again, you're going to be caller number 5 to the contest line, 415-523-4652. When you hear the sounder, not yet, but we're going to be giving away a pair of Curry 12s, so be locked in. Ryan, St. Louis, what's going on, man? You're on Spadoni and Shasky.
What's going on, man? Hey, how y'all doing today?
Doing great. It's a little wet out here, Ryan. How is it in St. Louis?
Man, it had a little snow day yesterday, so everybody was in the house.
Nice. I love the snow.
Yeah,
I don't want to live in it, but I like visiting it, so there's that.
I understand, man. Here's my issue again. I think Joe, you just read some beautiful stats about this team and finishing when it comes to the rim. I think it's been 2.5 years since the championship game. We've been praying and asking somebody for an athletic big who can be a lob threat and a defensive rim protector as well, which we have yet to do. We know we had an aging Steph Curry for the last 5 years. How do you protect a perimeter defender? You give him a big man.
Yep.
And we still have yet to do it. Or even when we do have one, he's sitting on the bench collecting splinters on his behind, which is post. And then Steve Kerr sits there and says, you know what? We're going to sit our guys. Why do we not have urgency as if we are a team that can expect to create victories at the end of games when we have 2 years of us losing clutch game after clutch game after clutch game, and we have this entitlement as if we can sit back here and win games because of our past, as if we need help. We need to win these games. But Kerr is so cool, calm, and collected, and I think this is where we may find some tension with Jimmy Butler, because he's going to be like, dude, we're not the 2016, 2017 Warriors guys anymore. We have to win these games. We don't have tiebreakers. We don't have momentum against the Clippers. We don't have momentum against Rockets like we used to. These teams are getting better. When they get healthier, they're more athletic, like you guys say. Jonathan Kuminga's not playing at this moment. We need to create a new DNA when it comes to finishing the games and our mentality. But Steve Kerr, I love him as a good guy. He's cool. But his lack of urgency with this modern day in the NBA and how these teams are punching us consistently. This is in our DNA now, guys. This is not a happenstance. We have to switch that mentality. And we keep sitting back here thinking that we have another game and another game, and we're one injury away from being 5 games behind the loss column if something happens to Curry. You know how you sit Curry, Steve Kerr? You sit Curry when you win the game you're supposed to win in the first and second quarter, so you don't have to play him 37 minutes in the second half. So when somebody asks you, is he playing tonight, you don't have to worry about it because you took care of your business. But you can't sit here and not triple team Kyrie Irving when you have the most triple team guard we ever seen in the Raptors playoff, when we ever seen in the Blazers playoff. And you can't look at a coach and say, you know what, let's do that to Kyrie Irving because they don't have a lob threat.
No,
they don't have lob.
It's a great point. It's a great point, Ryan. I appreciate your call there. And you're not the only one that's frustrated with Steve Kerr. Now, we've had a couple calls saying that as well. And listen, I'm just got a huge trade. He's got Jimmy Butler. They're 2-1 in the Jimmy Butler era. There's some things he's going to have to mix and match. This was the first close loss they've had. It was frustrating. Are we still talking about Steve Kerr's coaching? Had they won the game, had Steph made a free throw, had Jimmy made a free throw? I don't know if we are. We're saying, wow, Jimmy Butler, look, he's clutch. He's this, that, and the other. So it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. Listen, is Steve Kerr a perfect coach? No. But we were just singing his praises after 2 blowout wins. You were saying everything he did well. Whoa, he played Steph the entire third quarter. Great job, Steve. But yeah, I understand.
Common denominator, well, like the last 2 months. He's rolling with Buddy Hield way too long. He has more faith in Buddy and in Pods.
He's always done that with the veterans, though. He's always going to lean to those guys. What, right or wrong? Nothing. What I'm saying is there's nothing new with Steve Kerr right now that we don't already know about him.
That's why we're frustrated. Is he needs to adjust.
Well, there's nothing's gonna. I'm just telling you, nothing's gonna like. You could be frustrated all you want. He's going to lean to those guys.
Does Andy Reid do the same thing? I'm looking at Andy Reid on the screen. Does he do the same things that he did 20 years ago?
No. But
he's evolved, right?
Well, he didn't evolve in that game. They got absolutely obliterated in the Super Bowl.
They went to a Super Bowl. But he's evolved. Has he not?
Sure.
Okay.
He also got Patrick Mahomes.
Look, Steve, we've got 2 months. Okay, we have Steph Curry. Steve, you got 2 months of data. Guy Santos gets you a lot of second chance points. And actually, to me, in clutch moments, is as reliable as whatever you think Buddy Hield is as a shooter.
Also didn't shoot the ball, though, yesterday. He needs let's put some points up. That was the difference.
Guy gives you hustle points and actually is a better defender than Buddy Hield.
I like Guy. I want him to shoot the ball, though. If he's going to play 12 minutes, at least have some sort of an attempt there.
Pods don't shoot.
All right, well, he did yesterday, 4 of 9. It didn't really go in for him. He had 8 points there, 3 steals, 5 assists.
I'm just saying he clearly plays favoritism, which all coaches do. Steve loves Pods and he loves Hield, and we need to tell him dog, look, Quentin Post and Guy Santos give you more opportunities at second chance points late in games.
Again, I think the Steve Kerr questions, they're going to be answered when Jonathan Kuminga comes back. If Kuminga comes back and things are all hunky-dory again and everything goes this, that, and the other.
But that's giving him a pass for games that they can win, like last night. The lineup combinations.
Make a free throw. It's not his fault that Steph missed in the fourth quarter that Jimmy Butler missed.
No, but it is his fault that we...
No, it's not his fault.
Time out. No, it is his fault.
Lead there and hang on to it.
Whose philosophy is it to switch on everything? Whose philosophy is it to not double?
Make a play. Make a play. I saw
the guy destroying you. With 4 straight threes.
Max Christie was making more plays than anyone else there on the Warriors.
They have switched everything for a decade. Stop switching when you have a horrific defender who can't stop a nosebleed.
Stop blaming the coach because he couldn't win a game late.
I'm sorry.
Stop blaming the coach
on this.
No, stop blaming the coach when he couldn't win a game late. Steph, make a free throw. Jimmy, make a free throw. Don't put it in the official's hands.
If it's never going to be the coach's fault.
Oh, God. Yeah, you want Draymond coaching this team, please?
I bet you Draymond runs a double team at Kyrie quicker than what Steve Kerr did yesterday.
Okay.
You watched the best player in franchise history get doubled and triple teamed for a month, 2 months, 3 months straight, and you let Kyrie hit 4 consecutive threes without burning a timeout, 4 consecutive threes without double teaming him, 4 consecutive threes, and you're switching and letting Buddy Hield continue to switch, which makes no sense whatsoever. Fight through a screen. You know what Jimmy Butler did at the end of that game? He said, screw switching. I am playing hedging over the top. Get out of my way. I'm staying with them. Yes, it is on coaching. Coaches need to adjust to the game that's being played in front of them.
I'm just going to do what Steph wants me to do now.
I love Steve, but that doesn't mean that Steve cannot be criticized a little. Both can be true. Legend, all-time warrior, all-time coach. We don't win any championship without him. Simultaneously, the game that's being played in front of you is slipping away. Make a adjustment.
You heard the sounder there. Caller number 5 on the contest line, 415-523-4652. That's 415-523-4652. Caller number 5 will win a pair of the Steph Curry Under Armour What the Bay 12s. Call right now. Kyrie Irving had 42 points. Your 2 best players yesterday, Steph had 25, Jimmy Butler
Steph
had 21.
wasn't great.
He wasn't. That's sometimes the difference in a game. Kyrie was great and Steph wasn't. And I don't think people can handle that sometimes when Stephen Curry has not been good for about 2 months now. I'm just sorry to tell you what it is. Steph hasn't been a good player. Don't blame Steve Kerr because the best player in your franchise history has not been great.
Was Buddy Hield great yesterday?
No, Buddy Hield sucks.
Why is he playing?
Oh my God, you're going to blame Buddy Hield. Okay,
he played third. Let's look at. I'm going to look at how many minutes.
Buddy Hield stunk.
Let's see.
We know what Buddy Hield in his career.
Buddy Hield played 29 minutes yesterday. Podziemski played 25 minutes yesterday.
We're going to blame everyone else.
No,
Great.
I'm just saying there are situational spots. Like, there are times to play offense for defense. There are. Okay, you want ball handling with Podziemski. Guess what? You acquired a ball handler in the half court, Jimmy Butler, which kind of marginalizes whatever need you think Podziemski is there. So, yeah, I want to get some size on the floor to get – they have no bigs. Play some size a little. Play Guy Santos. Play Quentin Post. Yes, that's called adjusting to the game that's being played in front of you and the personnel. Does form not matter? There's no one on this team outside of Steph, Draymond, and Butler who should be guaranteed minutes in clutch moments. To me, it's matchups and form. So in the matchups department, like, you're not playing your bigs. Why? They have no bigs. In the form department, Buddy can't hit water right now if he fell out of a boat in the middle of the Pacific. Stop playing him. Guy had 6 or 7 crucial rebounds yesterday. He's a willing passer. He makes the hockey assists. He's a bigger body. He adjusts better, and guys are unwilling to back him down on the block. So yes, get Buddy Hield off the floor in certain situations. I get it. Buddy's going to play. He's a rotation guy. He doesn't need to close games when he doesn't have it going.
Steve Kerr asked how you would assess your point of attack defense.
Not good. Not good, yeah. We struggled. My mistake was probably not hitting Kyrie earlier and getting the ball out of his hands. I think we did a pretty effective job of that in the fourth quarter. I probably should have gone to that earlier.
There you go. He owned it right there, Joe Shasky. You feel better?
Well, no, but I can still critique it. It's like, dog,
sure.
Yeah, of course. I should have done it earlier. Joe Shasky sleeping in his bed, rubbing his dog who just got out of surgery or whatever, got his stomach induced.
Shout out Leo.
Like, I'm not Steve Kerr. I'm not a 4-time champion. I didn't win rings as a player. If I'm sitting here going, dog, it's Kyrie. He's got 40. What are we doing? Like, stop switching. Like, and Buddy's like, yeah, I'm gonna switch. I got him. It's like, no, you don't. No, you don't. And I think everyone is sitting here going, what are we doing?
I think that was a team that went into that game feeling themselves a little bit too hard. They saw Anthony Davis was out. They saw the Dallas Mavericks as food because everyone else is laughing at the Dallas Mavericks. Everyone's saying they're so dumb, this, that, and the other. Nico Harrison. Everyone was waiting for the downfall of the Dallas Mavericks yesterday, Warriors fans included. And you know what? Kyrie Irving said, no, I'm still Kyrie Irving. And he put the team on his back, and he won the game. And Steph didn't have a great game. And Jimmy, to his credit, 8 of 17, he was fine. They didn't make the big shots when they needed to, and that was at the line. I think that's as simple as that.
All of these things can be true.
Samita in Los Gatos, she thinks the Warriors were just sloppy yesterday. What's up, Samita? You're on Spadoni and Shasky.
Hey, guys. I watched the second half of that game last night, and, all I could think of was, this is still the Warriors. I mean, with or without Jimmy Butler, that was really sloppy basketball. I think there was a time when there was about 5.5 minutes left where they were like, the Warriors in this quarter have more turnovers than field goals. I mean, there was just no control of the ball. They looked very undisciplined out there. And it was really disappointing because I was like, oh, this is the same old team, just looking like desperate and, losing the ball. Steph had some really bad passes. And you're right, Joe, I think, Steph did not have a good game. It was not a good performance from Steph Curry. And people are afraid to say that, but I'm like, yeah, he's Steph Curry. He's been off lately. He's missing threes. He's missing all sorts of stuff. He's turning the ball over. I don't know what's going on, but it was a very floppy performance, and it doesn't give me a lot of hope for the rest of the season.
I'm with you, Samita. That was a loss that, for all the goodwill you built up the last 2 games, a loss like that for me, it was shattering if you're a fan. Everything was going in your favor heading to that game, and the way you lost it and the team you lost it to without their best player and the front end of a back-to-back, and now you're going to play potentially without all your best guys and the Rockets team that's really good. So you're going from maybe 4-0, you're feeling good maybe, or 3-1 to 2-2 in the Jimmy Butler in the last 4 games of this road trip heading into the All-Star break, and you're going to be under 500 potentially. Yeah, that shakes me a little bit if I'm a fan, and that makes me frustrated because you're also playing a team that you're going to be battling in the play-in. And I know you said if you just make the play-in, just make the box, this, that, and the other. Yeah, well, I'd rather make it as a 7 seed, right, or an 8 seed, so I can have 2 games to mess with instead of a 9 or a 10 seed. So, this you could look back, Joe Shasky, and this was the loss that prevented you from either getting home court in the play-in or prevented you from being in the play-in altogether.
I want to see at times, and again, both can be true. Steve's an all-time legend, and I'm talking about the coach. And there's times where I feel like he coaches the game like they are a 65-win team. And I'm like, no, dude, like, you've got to be on this. Like, every win, every possession is amplified. And if you have to play offense for defense and play the substitution thing, then so be it. Your team's not good enough. Like, I see this with other coaches around the league. They will sub a player out who is a poor defender because it's the lesser of two evils. And they're like, hey, look, I know that guy brings some offense. And I'm talking about role players, not stars. Hey, I know this guy doesn't bring anything to the table defensively, but right now, the way the Mavericks are playing is we are going to hunt the matchup. That's what they did yesterday. It was screen, set up the matchup, ISO. You have got to counter that as a head coach, and you need to have a desperation, possession by possession, in terms of coaching the little things. Like, that's where you do have to coach all the small stuff. And you can't just rely on, hey, we'll roll the ball out, and this is what we're going to do. No. That worked at one time. It doesn't work with this roster. And so, like, when I see the lineups and the combinations that they're putting out there late in games, and you say, Joe, they're basically a 500 team in clutch games. I'm like, yeah, I get it. A, players aren't executing. And B, I also don't think the combinations that are being put out are the most optimal lineups given the form and the matchups of who you're going up against.
Well, what's more frustrating is they're 1-21 when trailing after three quarters. Like, when you got Jimmy Butler and it's a close game, the reason you got Jimmy Butler and what we all said was, hey, you got a closer now. You got someone else that can close the game.
Sure.
And it was frustrating that they couldn't close the game because it was a close game yesterday. And that's when you lean on a guy like a playoff Jimmy who's earned that nickname, rightfully so.
There's something a little off. Obviously, the team's not good. So, like, let's start there. But I am encouraged. I know that sounds like loser talk. I am encouraged. Like, I like the two-man game between Draymond and Butler.
I don't know how. I don't know how you're encouraged.
Because, like, I this is a work in progress, Joe. I know what I've signed up for. I didn't sign up for 65 wins. Like, I would like that. That's not real. Like, my eyes are telling me this is going to be a team that's going to frustrate me and drive me crazy. The young guys are playing good. They are. It's the old guys who haven't necessarily executed. Jimmy dribbled the ball off his foot. Jimmy missed a free throw. And I like Jimmy. He's new, you know? Steph, you know, he missed a free throw. First miss all year in a fourth quarter for a free throw. It's just the way that game was going, Clay hitting early on, Kyrie being unstoppable. They were lucky to be in a tied game situation late in the game. Let's call it what it is. And they locked down defensively in a way and got multiple stops that I haven't seen all year. I haven't seen an opportunity all year where Draymond was vintage Draymond for 4 or 5 straight possessions defensively. And they were getting the loose balls with a GP2 and a Moody and Butler coming through with big-time stops. Even Curry had multiple big-time little, like, swipes and stuff. So the defensive side late in the game, that was encouraging. The switching, not good.
No. Their point of attack defense was not good. Their late game situation
they jumped out
plays were not good. It wasn't a clutch game, and this isn't a clutch team, which is unfortunate. They're 500 in clutch games this year, basically, are now 1 game under. They played in the most clutch games outside of the Minnesota Timberwolves. A clutch game, what is it? 5 minutes to go, within 5 points. That's what's constituted as a clutch game, and the Warriors are under 500 in those games. They are 1 in 17, 120, whatever they are. They're 0-9 on the road when they're trailing heading into the fourth quarter. They're 0-9 when heading into the fourth quarter without a lead. That's a team right now that tells me they can't fight adversity. They can't get through adversity. It's early with Jimmy Butler, so we'll see if things can change here going forward. They're 2-1 still. We're going to wait and see with Steph, Dre, and Clay, or not Clay, but Clay played last night for the Dallas Mavericks, but Steph, Dre, and Jimmy, if they're going to play tonight, because the more I'm thinking about it, I need those guys to play tonight. I would like to try to win this game tonight because I feel like this is a massive swing game for the Golden State Warriors. Because if you could be over 500, being 28-27 as opposed to 27-28, I feel it would be huge for not the fan base, but the players in that locker room and the coaching staff saying, you know what? Since we've gotten Jimmy Butler, we're a 3-1 team. That, for the mentals alone, I think is huge. And that's a big question mark for Steve Kerr because I've already given you the minutes from Stephen Curry, Joe Shasky, what he's had to play here going forward. 37 last night, 34 against the Bucks, 34 against the Bulls, 37 against the Lakers, 35 against 30. It's It's a lot of wear and tear on a guy that's dealing with bilateral knee tendonitis, and he's not been shooting the ball very well.
Guess what, though, Joe? If you don't make it past April, you got all May, June, July, August to rest because there's no Olympics.
You got to be careful here, though, too, because you do not want a significant injury happening to your star player.
Of course.
So I do understand that there is some risk here if you're trying to do the back-to-backs. Yes.
It's out of necessity, and that's just where they're at. I mean, that's where, and you know what? I hate to be this guy. Steph, you are a max player.
Yeah.
Like, yes, does the organization owe it to themselves to navigate the age of Steph Curry? Absolutely. But part of being a premium player and a maximum player and the best player on the team is there's going to be times we're going to ask you to do something that you're a little uncomfortable with. And look, it is what it is. I don't know what else to say. I want him to play tonight.
You brought Jimmy Butler in for reasons like this.
Yes.
Hey, if Steph can't go tonight, I need Jimmy for 40 minutes.
And Jimmy ain't played in months.
That's
so
what I'm getting
there's really
at.
no excuse for him.
I need Jimmy to be playing tonight. If Steph can't go all 40-plus minutes, he needs to go. Draymond, we'll see. He's dealing with that calf. I need him to go, but these are the games and situations. If Steph can't go, all right, Jimmy, let's see what you got. You're the guy now. And I said it when they made the trade. There's going to be points and there's going to be times, maybe in a playoff series, Jimmy's going to have to be your one if Steph can't get it going. Like, Jimmy might have to be the guy here going forward at times if Steph can't handle the load physically. Shout out to those watching on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. We are streaming on those platforms. It's brought to you by First NorCal Credit Union for a low-rate auto loan. Apply online or just ask for First NorCal financing at the dealer. Jason Richardson going to be joining us here at 9 o'clock in the next hour. Jason Richardson, Jay Rich, breaking all things Golden State Warriors down, the dunk contest, the All-Star game weekend. Yes, the All-Star game is here. It's going to be a little wet for people that are traveling, but that's all right. Hopefully it clears up over the weekend. I don't think any rain is forecasted Saturday and Sunday. By the way, we're going to be giving out the keyword here in the next 10 minutes for the knockout tournament. Be listening for the next 10 minutes. Going to give you the keyword. And then next segment between 8:30 and 9, you're going to hear a sounder, and you're going to have a chance to call in with that keyword and win a spot in the knockout tournament and shoot hoops on the court at Chase Center Tournament, Monday, March 3rd. And again, be listening to the 8 o'clock, 12 o'clock, and 4 o'clock hours today and tomorrow for your chance to win. Have to be 18 and be a California resident. Steve Kerr yesterday on If the Vets Can Go Today after a tough loss, a late loss, and an early arrival in Houston.
This was obviously kind of a fatiguing game, late to you're flying tonight. I mean, can you go with all your veterans tomorrow?
I don't know. We'll talk to Rick after. So it's a tough back-to-back, and that's why that's what makes this loss even more frustrating. Is that we're going to get into Houston at 3 o'clock, whatever it is, because the NBA and its infinite wisdom makes us play an 8:45 game, and they clearly don't care about rest or player health. It's just ratings and all that stuff. So I get it. So everyone's got to do it. The whole league's got to do it. So it is what it is. We got to strap it up and get ready for tomorrow.
Jassy, I'm going to go as far as to say this. Given the circumstances and given all the momentum you had and all the negative momentum the Dallas Mavericks had, I think that was one of the worst losses of the season. I don't even think it's close.
Well, which makes it even more frustrating for me that you let Kyrie Irving have 27 in the second half.
Exactly. It's fine. But again, one of the worst losses of the season was last night. It was inexcusable as far as I'm concerned.
But Joe, when you know that one guy is cooking you that bad, like,
it's a Hall of Famer. He's one of the greatest of all time. That's going to happen. Like that, it's going to happen.
No. See, I disagree. You have to implement strategies to make sure that someone else beats you. Like you literally have watched the blueprint with other teams running Steph Curry off the ball and basically saying, we will let anyone else on the team beat us, but not that guy.
Well, what if I told you at the end of that game, hey, you know what? Kyrie goes off, but we pretty much handled everyone else. I think you'd take that. Like, I mean, Klay Thompson had 17 points. He had 19 shot attempts. He was 6 of 19. It wasn't great. Max Christie's another guy I'm looking at. I was like, you let Max Christie beat you. He had 2 clutch free throws late. He was 6 of 12. He had 17 points.
I watched that game thinking the entire time, he's killing you. Stop him. Double him. What are you doing? That's what the whole third quarter, that's all I thought.
I understand that. I also understand that all Hall of Fame players play at Hall of Fame level sometimes, and yesterday was one of those moments. I don't know if you threw the kitchen sink at him, that would have stopped him. Would he have had 42? No, he probably would have had 30 plus. But again, to your point, I need someone else. Yeah, I need to stop the other guys too. Like Max Christie, I'm looking at. Like, we can't let Max Christie beat us. We can't let the guy that just got traded from the Lakers, who's a good young player. I really like Max Christie. I think I've been higher on him than most people have.
I like Max Christie.
He's very good. I can't have him being the difference in that game, though, too. Late in the game.
When Kyrie hit 3 consecutive threes, you didn't sit here and go, all right, timeout, enough is enough, let's switch this up. Like, that is the essence of coaching.
Sure.
Like, they're picking on you. And to me, if I'm let's reverse it. If Buddy Hield's guarding Curry, what are we all thinking? To continue to exploit that matchup. Like, that is the essence of coaching, and it is adjustments and subtleties and allowing someone else to beat you. The Belichick rule, take away what they do best. And yesterday, what they were doing best was Kyrie ISO killing you. You had to go to the double earlier.
Was it on the coaches or players last night? 888-957-9570. No, it is. But if you were to lean one way or the other, which one would it be? Because I do feel like we're giving the players a little bit of a pass here. I get it. Doubling Kyrie Irving would have helped. Could have helped. You didn't do it. I would have liked my star players also to show up in the biggest moments. It didn't feel like Steph Curry and co were rising to the occasion. Yes,
I would agree.
Big 3 from Steph late. But after that, it was just some boneheadery and some tomfoolery from the Golden State Warriors.
Well, I thought he didn't get calls, too, because he went to the rack. Did he not go to the rack multiple times in that fourth quarter?
Got four free throw attempts, and yes.
Should have been 8.
When it mattered most, though, he did get a call, Joe Shasky, and he missed the free throw. God, that was a killer.
But on the other one.
When it mattered most, did he get the call?
No, because on the layup prior to the Kyrie Irving rip through, he got clearly fouled when he went up with the left hand, clearly fouled, fell to the ground, put both his arms up. Draymond yelled at the official. They go back. Moses Moody has his hand out. Kyrie does the stupid rip through, which has been adjudicated out of the league. They're not letting you do it. And he shoots a 3 with his left hand, which he has no business shooting, and he gets 3 free throws. So, no, I disagree.
With 37 seconds to go, Stephen Curry had a chance to take the lead and to go up 1. He missed his second free throw. It sucks. It doesn't define who he is as a player. It's his first missed free throw in the fourth quarter. No, I'm saying
missed the other one.
With 37 seconds to go, you had a chance to take the lead and you didn't, and that could have changed everything right then and there.
There's no doubt they missed on that.
There's a butterfly effect after something like that.
There's
you take
no
the lead,
doubt
there's
they
more
missed on
pressure on
that.
the other team.
But again, the 5-point swing of not getting free throws on one end and giving up 3 free throws on the other end, like, we could do that the whole fourth quarter. And I do think on some level the game was extremely frustrating as a viewer. Just the inconsistency on calls. I mean, they lost the possession because of an 8-second violation where the guy clearly kicked the ball and 8 seconds had not passed. And what did they do? They hit a 3.
Them the break sometimes, unfortunately.
Well, those are 2 5-point swings.
Again.
So we're talking about 10-point swings off of back-to-back possessions.
It shouldn't have been a 4-point game. They didn't have Anthony Davis. They didn't have Lively. They didn't have Gafford. Dallas Mavericks stunk last night.
That's why you play the games.
Like, come on, bro.
But that's why you play the
that team was on a silver platter to beat, and you lost to a team in absolute shambles. A team that has fears of the team moving to Vegas, for God's sakes. We had Mike Bassick on the other week saying, yeah, when they traded Luka, the entire famous blew up because this team might be leaving the freaking state. That team is in shambles right now on a silver platter, and you lost it when you had Steph, Jimmy, and Dre in the starting lineup, and you let Kyrie go nuclear on you. Eric
and Clay was great in the first half.
Eric in Fairfield, what's going on, man? You're on Spadoni and Shasky.
Great show again. But I just want to touch on another point that I don't hear being touched on a lot or much, is that I think that where the game was lost, and you had just spoke on it, they didn't have any bigs. Lively's out, you got Gafford out, you have so on and so on. And Quentin Post gets 12 minutes. I mean, the guy, I understand he's a rookie, but his whole college career, he shot 80% from the free throw line. At least by the second half, we see Kyrie going off. We have to go to these half-court tests, and this is something that Steve Kerr constantly does. He's so worried about matching up with the other team versus making the other team match up with him. I used to watch Phil Jackson do it to Don Nelson constantly. We would try to go small, or Don Nelson, when Don Nelson came back with the word, we try to go small, and Phil Jackson would go bigger. He would go bigger. And that's something I don't understand. Constantly trying to match up with the other team versus making this other team match up with you. You got a 7-footer. He came right out the beginning of the game. He's snatching every rebound. I understand it was 12 minutes, and I understand he was a minus 15, throughout those 12 minutes. But in that second half, we really needed to kind of slow the game down. We started to catch up, and we kind of needed to slow the game down, go to a half-court set. We have a 7-footer out there that clearly showed he can play the game.
No, it's a good call, Eric. I'm both with you, Eric. The Quentin Post minutes, It was kind of baffling for me in that second half.
Well,
For sure.
and
If
down
we're
the
going to get on
stretch-
Steve Kerr for something, definitely some of the lineups there and the lack of size when you're going to a team with no size at all. Yeah, it was frustrating. That was frustrating.
And look, like you're gonna look at the box score. People are like, "Well, Guy Santos didn't do anything." I'm like, "No, Guy made lots of
Well, he
little
didn't
hustle
score.
plays."
Yeah, I said he didn't do it. I would just like to at least attempt a shot. Like that would be nice.
Sure, but the guy was giving you second chance points,
Sure.
and so like because he's not that big, but he's bigger than GP2, right? And he's thicker and wider and a better boxer outer, and has just a better knack for rebounding than Buddy Hield. Like to me, you got to play some of these guys that just have a knack for making winning plays. You can't just be like, "Hey, he's a shooter. He plays."
You had 18 offensive rebounds, 9 more than the Dallas Mavericks. That led to 9 more shot attempts. But again, only 1 more of them was made by the Dallas. Dallas made more shot attempts than you did at the end of the day, and you had 9 more attempts. Like those layups.
I know.
God,
The Draymond Pajemski back-to-back misses.
Just
horrible.
Hell, if you go to Jimmy Butler too, like 2 of his shots that he made were just absolutely cherry picking. And then you go to that, and then it's just like, what did he have?